So, I'm Bryant, and I'm an extraterrestrial contactee from Portland, Oregon. And before bedtime tonight, I wanted to have a brief discussion about mantis beings. I've been contacted telepathically by mantis beings and other beings for the last several years. I feel like over the last 3 years, I've been contacted by at least two distinct mantis beings from two different genetic groups. There are different genetic groups among mantis beings active on our timeline, and they mentioned to me a controversial program within their society of a voluntary student relocation program. Basically, students enrolled with Mantis who are looking for human helper beings are allowed to consult with Mantis Society, who do reach out to people who are active in circles where Mantis are discussed. Sometimes a Mantis being will just reach out to you and check out with you telepathically, like, "Hey, I'm right here." And Mantis beings are they can be very telepathically sensitive. Where in one genetic group they have like a prehensile feeler where they can touch you with. I don't want to call it a tentacle, but that's the problem. And sometimes that genetic group's hybridized with what you might call a tall white. And in the voluntary student relocation program, you can consult with mantis beings for students who are facing, for example, economic disparity and might feel pressured by society to commit suicide rather than face something like voluntary relocation with mantis. I don't feel like communication with mantis beings has ever been like a fate worse than death that I want to prepare for. To be blunt but fair with my audience and to be honest with my audience, I don't feel like I need to be sitting here prepared with like a suicide weapon for any kind of reality mantis beings might dispense to me. I feel like in light of certain news coverage they might have been like harsh but fair with military officers. And when I see military officers, I feel like, it's the military, it's very harsh, and it was your choice to enroll in the military where you're going to face really, really harsh life decisions. Really harsh life decisions, quite possibly, especially at higher ranks like lieutenant colonel or above. And so if you want to go active in circles where Mantis society is discussed, you might find Mantis to consult with you who know about the voluntary student relocation programs where students who might feel like, money's running out and I don't know what to do, I don't have like a family to support me anymore. I just want to say, especially in Western societies, where this kind of reality is becoming more commonplace. Like I'm just students running out of money, I don't know what to do. I'm living possibly going to face living on the street. Basically, med school students and computer techs need apply. If you have computer skills or med school skills, basically medics and technicians can't be on like a soul relocation program where it's like the mantis beings are forcing us just to die out and go into different genetic groups. Basically, sometimes that's people's personal life choice within ritual Satanism as they want to believe that. So, mantis beings were started to be controversy in the U.S. Navy, where basically purchase orders are too large to be ignored, and it's going to be obvious. The Navy spent a lot of money on something, and our national debt and budget deficit are very high. And with students not sure what to do without taking out more student loans sometimes, um, I hope people will possibly consider voluntary relocation with Mantis Society instead of considering suicide. I know people are going to want to give you action movies in your mind and say like, no, reality's prepared you to like kill somebody being taken by Mantis. Is the problem with action movies is like you have to kill your buddy, in combat. It's like you and the other army guy are training in the platoon to be space cadets, and they're going to want to shoot this old movie in StarCom. You just got to throw it out. You just got to throw it out because we're preparing you for the wrong reality with Mantis. Frankly, I'm hesitant to mention the name Starship Troopers. It's this really egregious movie that I hope you'll put on the shelf of egregious propaganda and not truth and fiction. Is what I would want to do for my devoted audience who actually show up and pay attention. Where I don't feel like if I was in a combat platoon of like two guys, I don't want to say like a New Earth army getting ready to instill a new world order. Here we go with feeling each other's birchwood. Basically, Mantis beings in Mantis society feel like they're allowed to be protective of students they feel like were being violated by human society. Some of them are androgynous and they're especially sensitive to. They have like a protective females instinct where if they see females being violated, Mantis beings might come to anger like, oh, females are being violated and males are doing nothing. This is going to be angering to them. So there are females among Mantis society. They're very psychically sensitive, and the first time, within the first couple of years of one consulting with me, I was tempted to gently pet one like I might pet a horse, and I'm ready to accidentally spook the Mantis, being like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize humans are sensitive to our energies, and I wouldn't generally advise it because I accidentally spooked the Mantis, but they didn't seem angry because I'm trying to treat them like, hey, you're like a nice horsey who keeps going back to me. So if you told me somebody was passing out the movie, I want to reiterate this for emphasis. If you told me somebody was passing out the movie Starship Troopers to U.S. Stormcom cadets, like da 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 da, as preparing you with truth and fiction, I'd go, no way, no way should you prepare to, grab your rifle and like put down your combat like, oh, he's being taken by Mantis and like shoot him in the heart, like that gut wrenching scene. I remember from near the conclusion of the film. Frankly, spoiler alert. Just that gut wrenching scene where what was that guy's name? And the recruit you trained with through the first half of the movie, has to kill his mentor. I remember the recruit who trained through the first half of the movie killed his mentor. I just remember being utterly shocked by that film. Just utterly shocked. And so what I hope people would prepare for with Mantis is to be gentle telepathic communication, like, hey, why are you here? Is there something I can do for you? Can you tell me about your mission? And just kind of like project these thoughts out. They seem to respond well when I project these thoughts from like a crown chakra kind of area, when I focus on my crown kind of area. And so if I learn students have been taken in like a voluntary student relocation program, I wouldn't want to find like the Starship Trooper in me to get ready to put them down to save them from fate with Mantis beings. Because I don't feel like they're cruel with me, but I don't know if one was ever stern with a military officer, and I'm sorry if this was covered by notorious reporter Ross Coldheart, and I don't know if it was taken out of context because I don't feel like Mantis beings in my life have been unfair with me. I'm just worried Starship Troopers kind of characters in real life, like real life citizens, who are like, I want to believe in the best about U.S. Starcom and that they're having really huge secret space missions. I just hope that you don't teach other in Starcom trainers to believe the worst about Mantis beings, because Michael was having a sleep paralysis issue for the last several years. I feel like Mantis beings would tend to me and check around, hey, what's going on here? What's going on here? Checking around with other UFOs about what's going on, and then the phenomenon wasn't identified to me. No offense, but the anomaly was resolved to me. There we go. I'm around resolving anomalies. Mantis being. Sometimes they go active in Pleiadian circles, and they'll go assess Pleiadian contactees and people who are active in that kind of audience, and they'll just want to assess you like, hi, I'm Mantis. I don't want to be like the menacing beings that you have to prepare for. So whatever's going on out there, Star Cadets, please, please, please don't prepare to just like execute the students because you're worried they're having a fate worse than death with Mantis. Please prepare. You know, if you're worried the students can't hear you, I don't want to say like a loudspeaker. But Mantis might have this like no, not a loudspeaker. Try like your quiet speaker to check telepathically with me instead. Is the impression I've gathered. Basically, with like a loudspeaker and air horn, this says Mantis, go away from me. If I have a loudspeaker or an air horn, I don't want to hear from Mantis. We might try instead of like I'm a crazy man with a gun, like waving my rifle around because that's like America, Second Amendment hashtag to a hashtag USA kind of person. You're this kind of archetype of an American. And I think where Mantis beings hope you would go with that instead is like I'm waving around like a bullhorn, I'm waving around like an air horn, and this kind of says go away, Mantis is my concern. Frankly, this also says go away, Tauseti. Tausetian society is very controversial. It's active on Earth, or Epsilon Eridani society. This like really loud noise kind of behavior says go away, go away, go away. Tausetians might actually grab their ear covers, like, so you're obviously trying to communicate and not blast me. That's progress in the right direction, but they might be like a person with like ear pads and like and I'm sorry, Tausetians aren't trying to insult the crown. With one of them who dons the kind of headdress that are worn by like royal guards, the kind you see outside Buckingham Palace, or the kind you might see in Canada. There's a Tausetian who's ever done this to cover up their they have unusual facial features, but they might be like I also have like ear protection on, like I'm like the expert English rifleman, marching around with my FN FAL. And I don't know if they sing traditional English songs, but they don't force non-English influences into the life of UK people who identify with England. Other UK people, they don't, if want to force influences into your life, you're not negatively influencing Tau City society. They're just going to go, okay, well, you're not negatively influencing Tau City society. Sometimes they have survey missions where they go, okay, what's going on here? What's going on there? And so I just wanted to offer this warning about Mantis beings. I hope there aren't such serious star cadets and star cadet teachers out there that you're going to pass out Starship Troopers as like your gospel, as like you must believe that there's truth and fiction in this. So I hope you're going to pass this out as don't do this. Don't prepare to shoot your instructor if you're worried Mantis are talking to them. Have a fine evening, video audience.